staff meetings are also following this template, and we're doing the things like we start our staff meetings with an inclusive opener that we're asking teachers to do in their classrooms. We're trying to model in the staff meetings that they're going to build, then model for kids in their lessons. Had a lot of success with that. We've worked on it all year long. I think teachers will tell you that there's a clear theme around instructional practices. Hopefully, like as a support, just trying to offer tools to add to the toolkit for the parents to student outcomes. Do you still have a figure principal comments? It's a standard practice in the entire district to make sure you're getting student voice, other stakeholders' voice when you have initiatives. So we just want to ask kids, hey, what do you think about the instructional practices in OMS this year? How are they help you engage as a learner? And you can just see interesting feedback. Talking about it helps me understand, just incorporating student voice. And I thought it was interesting, they talked about the entry task expedited by learning. Having a task to do right away gave them some insight to what the lesson is going to be about. The white bubble talks about being able to interact with my people is much better than just sitting and getting, and that leads directly into our next speaker who's going to talk about math. And then all the check-ins that happen in the purple bubble. So we're really excited with the way that's going. We've got 3 teachers here that are going to speak to some of those initiatives and how they look in the classroom. And we're going to start with our math teacher, Randy Beats. Students.
Incorporating something called global thinking classrooms. And it's basically kind of flips around how students are learning from sitting and being on paper. They're standing at a whiteboard where they can easily erase any work that they do, so it kind of takes the pressure off of them getting incorrect answers. They're in random in-person groups every single day. They're working with different students. And they have sort of like roles that they have inside of their group. So I'm going to pass it off to Cassius. Right now, they're going to give a short intro of how this goes in the classroom.
Hello, today I'm Cassius, and we'll be presenting on how
one person's on the calculator, one person's on the marker, and whoever's on the marker and whoever's on the calculator, they're not allowed to give me the idea man. Doesn't have one of those materials is kind of like the idea person, and whenever someone else wants to share an idea, they have to swap the materials. So there's never just one person who's kind of sitting back, not really doing anything. They're all kind of forced to participate, and they get to kind of swap roles throughout the process, and it really like allows everyone to get engaged in a way that kind of sitting at a desk and traditionally sitting at a workbook doesn't. So we've seen a lot of success and a lot of improved engagement, and a lot of kids really enjoy it. So guys, thank you so much for the awesome demo. Super appreciate it. Everyone give it up for.
Thanks so much, Ms. Beats, our amazing math students. At this point, I am going to turn it over to Miss Cash, one of our amazing social studies teachers. And she has a couple of students who are going to talk about reading strategy that they really worked on, as well as the goal setting and social studies.
Okay, we were really talking to the mic. Hi, I'm Emma. I've got two students. This is Lachlan. Perfect. And we're here to talk about before, during, and after strategy. So really, we met as a team because our students struggle with informational text. And so we were tasked as both ELA and history to come up with an informational task resource, like what should they do as soon as they get it, how should they read this text. And as a department, we all just agreed that it needs to be for any text. It can't just be for informational text because do you really know what informational text is? Right, so it's like when you get a reading, what should you do every single time? Just a deeper understanding. So this is what we came up with as a strategy to help students every single time they get a reading, in any class they're in, what should they do? Even in math, when they read story problems, what should they do when they get it? So, Nell, how does this strategy help you understand text in class?
It helps me understand the text in class because what I do before during math, summarize the main idea before I even answer the questions, so I can end tonight.
Good. And how does it help you understand the text?
Like the mouse said, it helps me like know what to write, but it also like them know what I'm reading about before I start reading, and that just makes it a lot easier.
Good. And would you both say that it helps you understand the reading and comprehend it better?
100%.
Okay. Any questions with the strategy? All right. And then this next part is daily self-assessment. So like Mr. McBride showed you the instructional practices, it was like an intentional close. Like how are students reflecting on where they're at? Because I can reflect and I can see where they're at, but do they actually know daily where they're at in their progress towards the learning target? So every day, this is what their entry task looks like. The learning target success criteria are always on the board all day. And then the exit ticket is really what we're talking about, where they reflect on a scale of 1 to 4 how successful they were. So are they tracking where they're at, and how are they able to communicate where they're at? What are their needs on it? And then I check those each week to see where they're at in their progress. I'll start with these. So, Lachlan, the exit ticket. How does it help you track your skills and knowledge each day with the success criteria?
It actually makes me think and actually reflect on what I do instead of just like after I'm done with my work, I'm just like, oh, it's fine. So I actually like know what I'm doing. I agree with you about what sense. It like gives me a minute to think about what I did in class and how I did it.
Does it help you track your progress over a longer period of time than the learning target?
Yeah, it does.
Good. Do you want to add? Any questions from you guys? Okay, day on the slide. So I put the success criteria and just like here's what a 4 means. And we use the language we use for our grading practices. So a 4 is mastery, 3 is proficient, developing, and beginning. And then it has starters, so like and then 80% of the success criteria, or that would be a proficient. And then 70% would be a 3 because I met the first success criteria, but I'm still working on the second one. So that's kind of where those reflections come in. Does it help you address both criteria, you think? Yeah? Yeah. So. Any other questions? These are rock stars, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Cash and team. Up next, Miss Wright is going to talk to us about ELA and how they're using iReady, which I am sure you have all heard of, but it's been a big part of our school goal this year and a huge support for student success. So Miss Wright is going to talk about Morgan, and going to talk about iReady and iReady.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Wright. I teach 6th grade ELA. I'm also the English department head here. I'm going to talk about iReady. So I actually have this as a little artifact to show you. I'm going to pass it around. So when the students took their iReady assessment in the fall, we realized that a lot of the times when students take tests, they don't ever get the feedback. It's a lot of the times for the teachers to look at, but students never really get to see how they're doing. And so we decided to print these scores, pass them back to students, talk about them, and have them do a reflection. So what you have in front of you is that reflection. Students can see where they're at. They can see what growth they should be reaching for. They get to set their own goal for that growth, and also talk about ways that they're going to achieve through their scores. After that point, we used iReady MyPath lessons for students to be able to reach those goals. So for iReady, it actually auto-creates lessons exactly at the level the students are at, and they can do lessons that are tailored to what they need. And what we did in ELA is track that on a star chart. So for every lesson that students completed, they got to earn a star, and every week or so, I would check the lessons that students were doing and pass out those stars. And at the very end of it, we got to see who was in the top star chart of the competition. And Morgan here was actually in my top 10 for star chart earners, which was so amazing. I'm going to pass it off to Morgan. That's amazing. And so I'm going to pass it to Morgan so she can tell you about what that experience was like for her and what she learned.
I'm Maroon and I'm 6th grade, and my score in the fall was 547, and my score in the spring was 530. This was all because of iReady my path lessons. And my path lessons are just stuff that you need help on because of stuff that didn't make sense on your fall score, and the type of lessons are. So in my case, most of my lessons were reading comprehension and vocab, and because of these lessons on my iReady, my diagnostic score increased by 41 points. I appreciate the Ording School District for helping me use these tools.
Thank you guys so much. iReady has made a difference for lots of students, not just Morgan. There's plenty of students who we haven't done our second reflection yet, but there's so many students who have experienced growth, especially those who really leaned into the process of the star chart. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Wright and Morgan. For the rest of the meeting, we're really going to talk about our goals 2 and 3. Goal number 2 is really around community partnerships and connections. We have student-led conferences twice a year, and that's our best way to get feedback from families, because at the end of the presentation, they're given a survey and we get like 300 responses. And so we identified 3 questions that we really wanted to improve on. And a lot of that is around building, increasing our trust with households and increasing communication and understanding of our students' grades. So one of the things we do is we send postcards home at every meeting just to give parents some positive feedback. We're up to over 500 postcards we've sent home this year, those Falcon appreciation notes. We've also been really intentional about parent calls. We try to give those positive calls, and then we dedicate some staff meeting time occasionally to reaching out to households where students may be struggling. And then finally, our student conference process, we're really proud of. We have over 300 families involved, and we have that coming up again next week. And it's just been a really rich conversation between students and parents about how their academic process is. Goal number 3 for our whole child goal, it's really around improving attendance. And we're doing a whole number of things. We really believe that it's really important for students to be here in order to grow academically. So those goals ties really closely with goals 1 and 4 as well. And so we're doing so many things. Really, we believe that if we create a positive school culture, we will have improved attendance. But we also have an attendance team that really examines data each month. We have, and then identifies what can we do for those students who are struggling. We have, as part of that attendance team, we put out some positive messaging on social media, our weekly newsletter, so you can see we included our students in that positive messaging, and just letting people know, if you miss over 2 days a month, you are considered product absent. And that can add up really quickly. So a lot of it is around that positive messaging. We've added second step to our SEL curriculum this year, which students get from kindergarten to 5th grade. So it just builds on what they get and really building a positive Falcon mindset in students so that they have that positive self-image and then get to school. And then we have integrated the behaviors of dignity this year to that theme together with SOAR. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McBride to talk more about that.
While we believe that strong instruction is the way to move the needle on student outcomes, we also are aware that culture needs strategy for breakfast. So the 5 at Gordy Middle School is something that we value. We spend a lot of time building it, and not just building it with the adults, but also building it with the students. So just like in instruction, we just ask the kids, how does the culture know about support you as a person? And the answer is, of course, this is a cross-section of students that represents all walks of life that come in our hall. I love the light green. I feel like teachers know me. The blue one says, I feel connected. The green one says, the tardy contest made me want to get to class all the time. And then, things that seem like they're not instructional, but really have an impact on the way the school runs. I love the contests. I love the events. I love the scavenger hunts. And one thing, seems like a throwaway. I love having sports balls at lunch. Well, that's an unstructured, unsupervised time in a lot of schools where a lot of misbehavior happens. And when you drive by and you're going to see 100 kids outside, 60 of them playing with balls, and 30 of them just talking with their friends, and the atmosphere is just very, very positive. We don't take that for granted. We really work to foster what that means. Additionally, like Principal Collins mentioned, the concept of dignity and the behaviors of dignity are becoming ingrained in the way that we just do school. It started with one person's voice in the district office, and then Kevin and I tried to make sure we understood it and give it to the building leadership team, then the staff, and now in year 4, we really often find what it means to treat humans with dignity, and especially students who sometimes feel like they don't have a voice and haven't been treated as equals or been treated as someone who has an opinion that matters. We worked so hard at this. This year, we wanted to get staff voice and student voice. So in August, the staff created the words that make the acronym SOAR together with SOAR to make our mantra this year. So in this room, in August, the staff chose supporting others, owning our behaviors, accepting of others, and recognizing positive behaviors. And then we did advisory lessons over 2 days the first week of school where the students identified what to look for. We compiled the look fors, we make a consensus under each letter, and these posters are posted all over. They're on the wall, they're in the hallways, they're in classrooms, they're in the office, and we talk about the behaviors of dignity. And when I'm doing discipline, it's really fun to frame that conversation is, where do you think of the behaviors of dignity we could have done a little better, or might have fallen short? It just takes the personal attacks out of the conversation and builds up what the school wants to build out. One other thing, come on up, my fellows that are here, that we're super proud of, is the second year of the Falcon Fellows program. This is in middle school. I think the school president has been a female all 4 of my years, and girl power, but I also want to see more male voices step into some roles of leadership. So I've got 3 current members and 2 from last year that are going to speak to you. Dylan's going to start with what the program means. Cormac's going to tell you some things we do. Josiah's going to talk about our peer mentoring program, and then Ryan and Kobe are going to mention how they have stayed connected to the program from last year. I want you to talk as loud as you do when I'm trying to get your attention when we're meeting, all right?
My name is Dylan, and it feels really amazing to work with Fellows because we get to help the school, the campus, and the second graders at PCA.
My name is Josiah Carlson, and I'm talking about the PTR experiences, and it's been really good going to PTR and helping out the kids with me.
My name is Cormac Jones.
Come on.
My name is Cormac Jones, and
You're just talking to them. You can just scream out if you want to.
some things that we've done at Owens for the future is we've done a talent challenge with the good level with the least amount of targets. It's like prizes at lunch, and we've done an attendance challenge, all the same things, and then the litter challenge, and all together as all the grades, we picked up over 2,100 pieces of
My name is Cody, and I was a part of it last year. And me and Ryan, we meet once a month with them. We talk about their grades, and we each have a person. And we talk about their grades and like their parties and how they've been doing, and their ODRs. And we also go to elementary school like every other Tuesday. We meet with the second graders and stuff and like out for class.
My name is Ryan, and I was a part of that class last week. Now we just kind of help them out with like ideas and help with the parties and help everybody else down. Just take it, help them out, show them what we did last week.
Me and Ryan are the two of them right now.
Thank you, Mr. McRae. Fellas, doing amazing work. Last thing as we wrap up, as I mentioned, we're just really proud of our participation at OMS. Last year, we keep a record of all the students who are in clubs, sports, and in music programs. We had 80% of our students in those programs last year, and so we really pushed that hard, keep up that participation. We think it helps students stay connected to the school, it really enhances our community, and we're just really proud. It takes a lot of adults to make those things happen too. So our staff really give up a lot of time and sacrifice to make that happen. Finally, we started off the year in August with this message of hope, that hope is the belief that the future will be better than today, and you have the power to make it so. And we really try to instill that in our kids, because they need that. They need that going into high school and beyond. And the way we build hope in them is by helping them them having success. And so we just want to continue to build on that. Together we soar, and continue to build on that the rest of this year and beyond. And final thank you. This is our last time with Mr. McWright. As you know, he took the position and sent to the Kids App. He's been such an integral part of our school and done so many amazing things. So I just want to give a thank you to all the work that he's done, as you see in these meetings, these 4 years, just an incredible partner. I'm not ready to say my goodbyes yet, but with the school board here, I just want to give him that shout out. Huge thank you to our teachers who sacrificed your Thursday evening and our students. Give them a round of applause. I will turn it back to our student. If you have questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Thank you, parents, for bringing your kids here and showing up to support us as well.
Thank you, Principal Collins. I asked to approve due to go to another district. Still looking for an answer for that. But yeah, I'm not saying about it yet. I would just like to comment on the board as a comments. I really truly appreciate your work elevating student voice and doing it creatively through their voice. Like working with them to know what's important to them, what they value, getting engaged in the activities so it's more than just classroom work. Your creativity in the classroom to try teaching differently, to connect with kids, it's just evident in your work. So I want to thank you for that. And also for extending your impact in students, your leadership into PTR and with other students. It's really important. You're setting an important stage in my high schoolers. Thank you for bringing it back home. Nice job.
I'm usually at these meetings, these are my favorite meetings all year, is when we get to come to the schools and we get to see some of the students and some of the teachers that are in the building. And I've always tried to be really deliberate about taking notes about the things that really touch me, and don't ask a lot of questions during. I don't want you to think that that wasn't my intention. But you started tonight with the super sweet voices of the choir. And I'm always reminded when I get to hear the choir, for some reason, especially here in the middle school, just again, how sweet children's voices are. And they are stinking good. Goodness gracious, I don't think I ever heard a choir in a middle school sound quite that good. And then we get to hear the woodwind quintet. I never learned how to play an instrument like that. These guys are phenomenal. You have the Together We Soar, and you describe what SOAR means, and you put down the acronym. I'm going to go back and look at those a little bit closer. I thought that was just fascinating. I love that you have goals 1 and 4 about academic growth. Why it's here, not for the academics part. But on the heels of that, one of my favorite things here at Borden Middle School was when you brought in the Falcon Fellows and the reason for that. And I am just tickled that that program is still here. I love that the boys that were first involved in it are now mentoring the next group, and I'm sure that this group this year are going to go back and mentor the next group, and that you're taking that down to PTR to do that as well. You guys have great hearts and wonderful personalities, and you make that so much fun for me. I just love that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff too. Math, I never had a math class where you could actually talk to your peers. You were recommended for that when I went to school. And so, therefore, I didn't really know that very well. So I like that we are challenging the status quo and changing how things are done, and giving the students a voice in that. Along with the by-ready results, being able to give those test results back to the students so that they can actually engage in their own learning that way. And to me, that's part of that advocacy, their own learning, and that they get to do that. I have a lot more, and it's been somebody else's turn. Just thank you so much.
First of all, thank you for the Falcon Fellows. I still want to see Okay, hang on, Joanne. We're gonna translate. In case you can't hear her, she's thinking music department and our students. Well, we've got a little bit of mic trouble today, so it's not projecting through the room. So I'm just translating. So what's next? Falcon fellas, thumbs up. She really likes her programs, and she's really good at the singer. Right? Did I get it? Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Joanne. And middle school, thank you so much. Parents, thanks for coming and supporting your students and being here to hear all about the important work that's happening in our world. Really appreciate it. Okay, with that, board, any last comments? Just a quick update, the GONE task force toured the high school and elementary school this week, so they got to see firsthand all good and bad and the things we'd like to improve upon. So keeping it this one out of the task force is continuing to meet again next Monday. And with that, we're ready to adjourn the meeting tonight. All right. Tonight I'll adjourn the meeting at 6:00.